Abdo, and today we're going to presenting our project title name Alzheimer's disease prediction using machine learning algorithms. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder and the most common cause of overall worldwide. Uh, Basically, the disease has symptoms appear gradually, and by the time it is clinically diagnosed, an irreversible brain damage has occurred. Therefore, early and accurate detection is crucial not only to slow disease progression but also to improve patient quality of life. Traditionally, diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease relies on clinical assessment and expert judgment, but we have our availability of medical data. We can easily do machine learning algorithms on the data set. So our goal is to use machine learning techniques to classify some data set and to classify the Alzheimer's data and the normal control data based on the structured clinical biological analysis. So for this study, we have taken a data set named GSE 282 what is it? GSE 5281 sample characteristics. This is the data set I have obtained from the Gene Expression Omnibus, which is a well-established biomedical data repository I have found from the NIH the server. The dataset contains human brain tissue samples. Here is the dataset collected from the both Alzheimer's patient, and there is some target variables. We have normal data and the Alzheimer's disease data. So instead of raw gene expression values, our project focuses on the sample metadata like age, brain region, cell type, ethnicity, and another clinical description. Huh. So if we go the EDA part, our exploratory data analysis, I have done some perform some feature distribution, class balance, and potential analysis. One of the most important findings during EDA was data leakage. Data leakage occurs when uncertain features directly or indirectly encode the target level, leading to unrealistically high accuracy. So, in healthcare applications, this is especially dangerous because it creates false confidence in model performance. So, there are the main aspect I have find. So, these are the some plot of graphical data and the numerical data, and we have done our pre-processing pipeline here. And if we go to pre-processing pipeline, yes, this is our pre-processing, and we have done some imputation of missing values, one hot encoding of categorical variables, standardization of numerical features, and 80-20 stratified train test split, where the training set is 80% and the test set is 20%. We used circuit learn pipelines to ensure that the same processing steps were applied consistently during training and testing and cross validation. So this approach reduces bias and improves reproducibility. Now I would like to invite my second teammate to uh, explain how different ML models were trained and compared.
Everyone, I am Mahmoudul Islam Shaikh. Now that we have seen how the data was cleaned and prepared, let's talk about the learning phase where the actual prediction happens. In this part, I will explain how learning actually happens in our system, meaning what models we used, why we used many of them, and how we train them fairly. You might notice in our report that we didn't just pick one model and hope for the best. We actually tested 10 different models. Why? Because in machine learning, there's no such things as a magic algorithm that works for everything. Since we are dealing with complex biomedical data, we wanted to do a comparison-based analysis an analysis and study to see which mathematical approach actually understands Alzheimer's patterns the best. We started with logistic regression. Uh, we Our baseline was logistic regression as it's simple, fast, and gives us a get starting point for binary classification. From where we moved into more uh, geometry-based models like k nearest neighbors and support vector machines, where we tested both linear and RBF kernels to see if the data was easier to separate in higher dimensions. We also included naive Bayes for efficiency. uh, and decision trees to see if we could create a clear flowchart of the disease's progression. But sometimes one tree isn't enough. So you looked at some ensemble learning algorithms like random forest, which combines which many decision trees to reduce errors. To take it a step further, we used boosting techniques, specifically AdaBoost and gradient boosting. These are smart models that learn from their own mistakes. They look at their samples the previous model got wrong and focus harder on this in the next round. This is usually where we see the biggest jump in accuracy for structured data like ours. Now, for the heavy lifters, uh, for the hitters, neural networks, we wanted to see if deep learning could find hidden patterns that traditional models might miss. We built multi-layer perceptrons with one, two, and three layers, but we didn't stop there. We also built a custom TensorFlow-based artificial neural network (NN) to keep this model stable. We added uh, we added batch normalization and dropout layers, which basically prevents the model from memorizing the training data too much. And we use the Adam optimizer to help the model learn efficiently. It was a deep dive into seeing if complexity really beats simplicity for this data set. Interestingly, neural networks did not outperform traditional models, which suggests that for small structured medical datasets, simpler models can be even more effective. Now, finally, the most important part, the training strategy. No matter how cool a model is, it's useless if the training isn't fair. First, we used a pipeline to ensure that every single model received the exact same preprocessing, like standard scaling, so no model had an unfair advantage. Second, we used stratified k-fold cross validation. This means we split our data into 5 or 10 parts, making sure the ratio of AD to control patients stayed the same in every fold. This ensures our results aren't just a lucky guess on one specific split of data, but are actually reliable and reproducible. So overall, this learning phase helped us understand that model performance depends more on data quality and training strategy than model complexity. With this solid foundation, let's see which of these 10 models actually came out on top. Now, over to Orno for the results, evaluation metrics, and final conclusions.
Hello everyone, and I'm Science Lorna and I'll be doing the results and discussions part of this project. So, after evaluating all the trade models on the leakage-free dataset, we observed clear and meaningful differences in performance, which highlights the importance of a proper model comparison rather than relying on a single algorithm. The decision tree classifier achieved the highest accuracy uh, reaching 81.8% while also maintaining a good balance between precision, recall, and F1 score. This balance is particularly important in medical classification problems where both false positives and false negatives can have serious consequences. The concession matrix further showed that the model performed reasonably well for both Alzheimer's and control classes, indicating that predictions were not biased toward a single class. In comparison, gradient boosting demonstrated slightly lower peak accuracy but showed more consistent performance across cross-validation folds, suggesting stronger generalization to unseen data and reduced sensitivity to data splits. While analyzing neural network models, we found out that uh, uh, that includes multi-layer perceptrons and a TensorFlow-based architecture, their performance was noticeably weaker based on the available data. This underperformance can be attributed to the relatively small dataset and the structured metadata-based nature of the features, which do not provide the large-scale, high-dimensional patterns that deep learning models typically require to perform well. Now, feature importance tells us analysis reveals that age was the most influential feature, contributing approximately 69% of the predictive power, with specific brain regions providing the additional support. This result aligns with existing clinical understanding of the disease and also demonstrates advantage of interpretable models in healthcare settings. Overall, these findings show that simple machine learning models can outperform more complex architecture when data is limited, provided that the pre-processing is done carefully. Most importantly, our work emphasized the critical role of data leakage removal, robust evaluation using ROC, AUC, and confusion matrices, and model interpretability to ensure reliable and meaningful biomedical learning outcomes. However, this study is limited by its reliance on metadata only. Thank you very much.